Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope everybody is enjoying this fabulous Women's Wellness Day. So I'm going to wrap up this session with a wellness mixology. We're going to make 3 wellness kind of healthy homemade drinks today. And you should have had the names and the ingredients of those drinks in advance. So if you want, please do follow along at home. I had to do a tiny bit of pre-prep just to make sure that we're on time with getting all the ingredients together. But the 3 things we're going to make are a coconut Chia Fresca, a lemon lime mint electrolyte drink, and a elderberry chai kind of morning warm drink elixir. So we're going to mix up the order a little bit of them just to make sure that we get all of the process done within this session. So I'm going to start with the coconut Chia Fresca because the chia seeds do need to soak for about 10 minutes. So I'm going to have them soaking while I go ahead and make the other drinks. So if anybody hasn't used chia seeds before, they are basically tiny, kind of little black, brownish colored seeds, and they look a little bit like poppy seeds. They're a great source of protein, calcium, and also plant-based omega-3 fats. It's a really nutritious seed, and they're very hard until you add any type of liquid to them. So we're going to use coconut water. Coconut water is naturally very hydrating. It has electrolytes in it. It's rich in potassium, which is one of the salts in our body. And I'm going to measure out, this is going to be about 1.5 cups of coconut water mixed with, that was just 1 tablespoon of chia seeds I put in. So I'm going to measure out the water. And I'm going to use a mason jar where I can put a lid on this, because the chia seeds need to be stirred a little bit, and we can shake it up then towards the end and make sure that all the ingredients are mixed well together before serving. So that's 1.5 cups of coconut water. And I'm going to give this a little stir. Chia seeds will absorb a lot of liquid and become quite gelatinous in texture and soft once they've absorbed water, just after about 10 minutes. They do need a little bit of a stir to prevent them from clumping. So that should do it. I might come back and stir in a little bit, but I'm going to leave this aside now and move on to the next drink. So while they're soaking up the liquid, we'll come back to the chia drink at the end. Okay, so the next thing, I'm going to switch over to the stove top here, because I have some just hot water simmering here on the stove. This is about, it's probably a little more than 2 cups, but the recipe calls for about 2 cups of boiled water, and it's already boiled. I'm just going to bring it back to a simmer. So I have here hope you can see this, a chai tea bag. So I'm just going to add this in. So you can, of course, just boil your water in a kettle, but the benefit of kind of doing it all on the stove top is that when I add in the other ingredients, the spices, it simmers it all together and kind of mixes it all together, as opposed to just trying to pour it into a cup and then mixing it there. So the spices we're going to add today, I have root ginger here. So fresh root ginger, I've just pre-peeled it, and I'm going to grate in about the equivalent of a teaspoon. And ginger is a lovely warming spice. It helps promote good digestion. It's anti-inflammatory, good antioxidant, and it's lovely mixed in with flavors like lemon and other spices. And now that's boiling away, so I'm going to just turn it down, bring it back to a simmer. And I like these kind of handheld graters are good for grating ginger, because you tend to be working with a small piece of root ginger. It can be easy to catch your fingers in it, which you want to avoid. And then with these types of graters, if you have a little brush, you can just sweep in the rest. So when ginger is grated really finely like that, it really gets all of the lovely flavor from it mixed in. So that's just going to simmer away. And then the other ingredients we're going to add into this, and sometimes this might sound a little bit strange, but we're going to add a pinch of turmeric powder and also a pinch of cinnamon. So these are 2 spices that are probably already contained in the tea bag, but it just brings it out a little bit more. And I'm going to just be careful not to add too much. I'm going to just actually take off the lid, and it's just about an eighth of a teaspoon. So this is a 1/4 teaspoon measure. Okay. So if you add too much of the spices, it can make the whole mixture a little bit too powdery in texture. So I'm just going to keep it to a small quantity. And then the same with the cinnamon. So cinnamon will help with insulin sensitivity. So it's a really great spice to have in the morning with any type of breakfast or in a drink like this. It helps balance out our blood sugar and insulin levels so that we can keep it nice and stable through the day. Give that a little stir. And then also, this is where it might sound a little strange. We're going to put in a pinch of black pepper. So just a pinch, and also a pinch of salt to balance out the flavors. So black pepper, the active ingredient in turmeric. Turmeric is a very anti-inflammatory spice, so really beneficial for decreasing inflammation and an antioxidant, boosting your immune system. But the curcumin is the active component in it, and it needs a little pinch of black pepper to really get the curcumin activated. So that's why whenever you're using turmeric to get the real benefit from it, we add a little pinch of black pepper. And you don't really taste the black pepper in this, you just taste this overall kind of mix of warming spices. And then we are also going to add a small squeeze, about a tablespoon of lemon juice. So I have here some lemon. I'm going to just squeeze it in. I might need a little bit more than that. And the lemon adds a really lovely zesty flavor to the whole drink. It just, the mix of the zestiness of the lemon with the spices is just really beautiful. There's no sweetener as such in this drink, but what we are going to add, as the name suggests, is some elderberry syrup. So I got mine in Fermentation Farm. They do great elderberry syrup. And this is an extremely good supplement to have in your diet for immune boosting properties. It is particularly beneficial for respiratory viruses and therefore potentially helpful for preventing, mitigating the symptoms of COVID if you do get it. So just about a teaspoon. I mean, maybe I might add a little bit more than a teaspoon because probably have a bigger volume of water overall than this recipe calls for. So I'm just going to put about 2 teaspoons in there. And there are all of our ingredients for our elderberry chai elixir. I'm going to remove the tea bag. Take this out of the way. And just give this another stir. So this is a beautiful drink to have in the morning. We'll switch cameras back to the center. And okay, so we are just going to, I'm going to use a ladle to, this is quite a big pot, and to transfer some of this into our mugs. So like I said, this would be a perfect drink for first thing in the morning. You could have it any time of the day. If you do prefer some caffeine, and if you like the idea of some black tea, I think an Earl Grey would work really well with those spices as well, if you prefer that to the chai. And there we have it. So this is our elderberry chai morning elixir. Okay, beautiful. So I'm going to move those aside. And now we're going to come over to our electrolyte drink. So I had in advance, just for some pre-prep, these are fresh mint leaves that I had about a cup of boiled water. They've been steeping in there to basically brew a fresh mint tea. So this water in here, you can see it's turned a nice kind of green color from the mint leaves. I'm keeping that water, I'm not throwing it out. If you want, you can strain out the mint leaves, but make sure you keep that water because that's got the nice mint flavor in it. And to this, we're going to add a full juice of a full lemon. So I've got my lemon already cut here. So electrolyte drinks, so think of sports drinks that you might get in the stores for replenishing after exercise or when you're sick, vomiting or diarrhea. You want to replace not just the fluid, but also the salts in the body that we lose during those times. So salt is a real key ingredient of this, and the citric acid, the vitamin C from the lemons and the limes also help the absorption and for the immune boosting properties. And the benefit of this homemade drink is that, one, it's super simple. A lot of it is just regular home ingredients, and it doesn't have any of the processed chemicals, colorings, flavorings that so many of the sports drinks that you get in the stores have. So I really encourage you to make your own electrolyte drinks, and also great for kids if they're out doing sports. And you can make it with different flavors. So this is a mint flavored one, but you could replace that with grated ginger, or you could use other fruit juices, like pomegranate juice. You could be, creative and do watermelon or something. So there's lots of ways that you can make your electrolyte drink. Salt, as I said, is a key ingredient. We're also going to add some honey for sweetness, which is not key for the electrolyte absorption, but it just kind of balances out the flavors. You got the bitterness in the lemon and the lime, you got the saltiness. So it's about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt for this full. We're going to add more water as well. So I'm just going to, and I'm using Himalayan pink salt, and this is a good choice for mineral content, better than just regular table salt, which is just basically sodium chloride. Whereas this is predominantly sodium chloride, but also has various other trace minerals in it, which our body needs for replenishing. So about a 1/4 teaspoon. It will have a kind of a salty flavor, but that's the purpose of an electrolyte drink. And then I'll add in the water next. So this is your choice to do either filtered, sparkling, like still water, sparkling water, and or coconut water. As I mentioned earlier with the coconut fresca, that coconut water is a really good source of potassium. So it in itself is sort of like an electrolyte replacement. So I like sparkling water, and it kind of is nice to add a fizz to a cold drink. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do 3 additional cups. There's already 1 cup of liquid in here from when the mint leaves were brewing. So I'm going to add 2 cups of sparkling water. And like I said, it's your choice. If you don't want sparkling water, you can just do still water. And I'm going to do an extra cup of coconut water. So the coconut water also has a naturally sweet flavor to it. This natural sugar is present in coconut water. So if you are using especially more coconut water than regular water, you might actually want a little less honey in it. I am going to add, the recipe calls for, I think, 2 tablespoons of honey. I am going to do about a tablespoon, maybe 1.5. And I like to use kind of a local raw honey. It's nice to get the kind of local microbiome from the bees, and also support your local farmers. So I get mine at the farmers market locally. So that's probably about 1.5 tablespoons. Just try and get all that honey in there. And you will need to give it a good stir to get that honey to dissolve. So for those of you who had the swag bag as part of the Women's Wellness Day, you'll have the nice straws and glasses as part of it. So I'm just going to use one of them to give this a good stir and try and break up that honey. And that's it. So for this electrolyte drink, it's basically in this case, it's mint leaves, brewing in water. I've used a whole lemon, a whole lime, the juice. It's about 1 tablespoon or so of honey, and that's to kind of flavor it. And then good pinch of salt, about 1/4 teaspoon, more if you're using more volume of water. And then 3 additional cups of water of choice. In this case, it's a mix of sparkling and coconut water. So this is great after exercise, just on a really hot day, if you're sweating a lot, if you're sick. And like I said, you can mix up the flavors also. So here we have it, our lemon lime mint electrolyte drink, all homemade. I'm going to pour this out into a glass with some ice. Be really nice on a warm, hot day to rehydrate. And if you don't like the mint leaves in the drink, you can of course strain them out. I don't mind having them in here, but if you'd rather not, or also if this will keep for several days in the refrigerator, maybe put it into a mason jar with a lid on it, But if you do leave the mint leaves in it for any length of time, they will kind of go brown and not look so nice. So if you are going to keep it and store it, then I recommend straining out the mint leaves and keeping it in the refrigerator. So there we have it. Yeah, that's perfect. So nice balance of saltiness, bitterness, and sweetness. So that is our homemade electrolyte drink. Okay, so that's 2 of our 3 drinks. And now we are going to finish up with our Chia Fresca. So we have our chia seeds already soaking here. I'm going to give it another stir. Make sure they're all dissolving and not clumping together. And I can see that they definitely look swollen. They've absorbed so much of that water. And that's how we want it. So I think they've been sitting there for definitely more than 10 minutes. And what we're going to add to flavor this is the juice of half a lime. So don't forget, the coconut water in this means that it already has a sweetness to it. So I'm definitely not going to add any more sweetener to this. The lime, the combination of lime and coconut is really nice and refreshing, especially for the summer. Okay, so that's our lime. And then the other ingredient is apple cider vinegar. So apple cider vinegar is, as it suggests, it's vinegar from apples, and they're fermented in a process that basically makes acetic acid. That's the vinegar in this. And it's thought to be pretty beneficial for many health outcomes, including helping in diabetes, controlling blood sugars, and promoting insulin sensitivity. And it can also help aid digestion, kind of stimulate digestion as well, maybe first thing in the morning with water and lemon juice is a nice way to start the morning. So I'm just going to add a tablespoon into that drink. And that is basically it. I'm going to put my lid of my mason jar on. So I'm just going to shake this up, make sure that all the chia seeds are well mixed together. And again, this is a really nice drink to serve with ice. So for those of you who had your swag bags, you will have had these lovely glasses with the logo on it. And I'm going to just pour in my chia seed drink. Perfect. And we can give that a swirl around. Add a little garnish of lime if you like. And there we are. So this is our coconut Chia Fresca, hydrating, energizing, great source of protein and omega-3. Perfect. And the chia seeds are lovely and soft. You don't need to worry about crunching on them. So enjoy. If anybody made these drinks at home with me today, I hope they turned out well. And if not, then please do go ahead and make them at home. You will have the recipes soon by the end of this session for sure. And make sure that you make your own wellness drinks at home and don't rely on store-bought ones if you're not sure of all those ingredients in it. So I hope you enjoyed this Women's Wellness Day, and I will be online to answer any questions that you might have.